Hey everyone, welcome to Chucky Talks. Christine, finally I got you to come visit me in Florida.
It's so hot, I can hardly stand it.
Welcome. Is that Chucky standing behind you? Move your head a little. Oh yeah, look at that one. Oh, what's wrong with your head? You're morphing.
Yeah, I'm a little sick, and so my face just like pulsates.
Oh yeah. All right, I get it.
So does my hair.
So how you doing?
I'm sick.
You're
But you
sick.
can be
You're
too.
sick and I'm sick. So we're being silly.
Yeah, I got
The only
yeah,
way to get through it.
it's true. But it's nice to be here. I can't wait to go swim in your pool with the alligators later.
Yeah, yeah. I have well, you could dive in the lake and the alligators are waiting for you.
All right.
Finally, you're here. This is the only way this is the only way Christine's ever gonna be in my house.
I hope that's not true.
I hope so too. So anyways, welcome back, guys. Hope you've had a fun week. We've had an interesting one. Christine, you were out in Seattle. I sadly was too sick to make the trip. But you and Fiona had a good time together, right?
We did indeed. It was a really fun show. It felt luxurious to me because it's in my time zone, and it's a 2 hour flight rather than 6 hours and 2 hour drives and blah 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 blah. Seattle Crypticon or Crypticon Seattle. I'm not sure which way it is, but what a great show. I recommend it to anyone who hasn't been. It was really a fun show. And they treated us really well. So it was
Your
good.
panel was real fun. I saw you posted the panel from that show that I guess I would have been a part of had I made it, but
Actually, maybe not, because the way they had it scheduled before you cancel was Fiona by herself and then me and you together after that, which was so weird.
no, we would have fought Talby together.
Yeah, well, if you watch the panel, like we called them on it there. Like, did you think we didn't like each other? Like, we didn't even know if you knew each other. It's like,
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know Chris Sarandon
Yeah,
either.
yeah, yeah. You had to explain where you met and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I was like, it makes it look like it's a girl fight, and that certainly
Yeah.
isn't.
Well, we will be together with Fiona this coming weekend in Niagara Falls. You've been to the falls before. We did a convention there together once already, right? I think so.
Yeah, we did
Good.
Fright Night at the Falls. This is like Niagara Falls Comic Con, I think.
Yeah, but isn't it not run by the same person?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
it's just it's a Comic-Con version of it. Yeah, that's actually quite a lineup. I think Brad
William
Dourif will be there.
Shatner.
William Shatner, Brad Dourif will be there. You, me, Fiona. There were a few other people that I saw that I was excited about too that I haven't gotten to meet yet.
Yeah.
Chucky, speaking of Chucky, season 2 is, doing what it's doing. Get a lot of questions about it. I'm being recognized more in the airport. I was walking through the airport and this dude turns around and goes, "When we get in season 2, man?" Out of nowhere. So people are excited about it, which is cool.
It's been a long time since you've been recognized in public for being Andy Barkley. I bet, like randomly in an airport, right?
That's one of the pleasures of being only a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old in this franchise is, yeah, I've been able to just chameleon my way through life and not have to talk about it with strangers. But now I have to do it a little bit more. But people are always sweet. So
yeah, TV has much broader reach. You'll find the exposure on television is a lot more.
Yeah, for sure.
Than movies are. Yeah, I had the opposite experience. So at the convention, I felt like nobody knew I was me. I think they all thought I was my own handler at the table because I was like crickets and like tumbleweeds are going by, and I'm like, because I look so different from what they.
Yeah, you asked for it with the brunette hair, I guess.
Fuck everybody.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you've been a blonde in what percentage of all the acting work you've done?
A lot.
A lot, right?
But I've been brunette too.
Were you blonde on ER?
Yeah. I was half brunette. I did 3 different sort of looks on 90210, only one of which was blonde. The other 2 were brunette.
Yeah, but she was established as a blonde.
Yeah, and everyone prefers the blonde, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, I like you as a brunette too. So, look, Chucky looks like he's gonna stab you right in the head.
You seen Dolls That Pee? Look at him, he's bleeding.
Yeah, that's the I Hate Kids doll. He's really cool. Let me grab him. This one was actually just made for me. He's very moldable. Oh wait, hold on.
I should have just reached over and gone.
Our effect is spoiled.
Yeah, look at that nosebleed.
Yeah.
Good looking doll.
Dolls That Pee, this one bleeds.
Yeah.
I Hate Kids.
It's a good looking Chucky.
Yeah, it is. He's so cool. Speaking of Chucky, right behind your head. Speaking of Chucky, on Chucky Talks, let's talk to Chucky. This
Yes.
is part 2 of our interview with Chucky himself, Brad Dourif.
You know what? Before we do that, Alex,
Yeah.
should we tell them what's going on Patreon in case, like, you know?
Let's let him watch the interview and we'll tell him afterwards.
All right, there's some information at the end of the interview though, so don't check out like soon.
Yeah, don't bounce.
Yeah.
Don't bounce quite yet. All right, enjoy it.
That's part 2, Brad Dourif. Okay.
Yep. Going back to Chucky a little bit. Did Chucky come to you in the form of a script, a full script, sides, or how was your first? Do you remember your first way of learning about this character?
I read the script. I was sent the script. I read it, and then I went in for a meeting. I didn't read. I just went in for a meeting, and they said, "Do you want to do it?" I said, "Yeah." So yeah, that's how I got Chucky.
And that meeting, Tom Holland was there. Maybe David Kirshner, I guess.
David Kirshner was not. Tom Holland was.
Gotcha. Yeah. When you came out to Chicago, you know, of all the times in all these Chucky films, 7 films and a TV series, you didn't get to spend that much time on set with everybody.
No.
In all this, Child's Play 1, of course, and Curse of Chucky, which I'll talk about that too. But when you first got out there to Chicago and you were on set, it was a freezing cold winter.
Yeah, it was.
How long were you there, you think, altogether? A couple weeks tops?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went
for
back
rehearsals and then shooting my stuff on the outside. Yeah.
and you did all of your audio stuff after that or before that?
I did that. When did I do that? After that.
After that. We had a rehearsal. I actually saw little clips of the footage. I bet there's more extended version of it somewhere. But Catherine Hicks often tells the story too, that you sat with Catherine and I, and you kind of really got into character on the floor as Chucky. And we got to run some scenes there, which even though I don't remember that, I'm sure that was incredibly helpful for us. That experience.
Yeah, I think it was helpful. The director, Holland, as well, to see the scene acted live, to see the kind of energy that could be in the scene and how people reacted and so forth, and to get a real feeling of a 3-dimensional feeling of what the scenes were. It's the only time I did that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did rehearse, of course, with Fiona, but that was really on our own time. I know we did one read through where we read together.
Oh, really? Fiona is the same age as I am. And I mentioned to her recently, you know, we share that Chucky was part of our lives in very different ways from the exact same time, incredibly early in our lives. We can't figure out if we met back then. I think you said once that maybe we did. But I don't know where that might have happened.
That would have happened. That would have happened on the studio lot.
Oh, would have. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't remember it now either.
Yeah.
I got to rehearse with you too, and I have to admit I was super fangirling. I was already a giant fan of yours, so when I got to rehearse with you on the Universal lot in some office, I was all verklempt. I was very excited. I wonder, have you ever fangirled or fanboyed on somebody? Have you gotten to work with somebody that you've been like just?
Oh, of course, yeah. Nicholson, I was very enamored of Nicholson. He just put me at ease really quickly.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite actors, female or male?
Oh my God, yeah.
That you haven't worked with?
Yeah. Gina Rollins.
Yeah.
Did something extraordinary. I don't know, just tons of them. It's too many to yeah. But Gina Rollins was influential.
Yeah, she's amazing. What's that director's name? Is evading me right now. That she did a bunch of stuff for him. He was her muse for a while. Who am I thinking
It
of?
was her husband,
It's her husband, John Cassavetes.
John Cassavetes. Yeah.
It's this incredible string of. You didn't get to work with him, did you? Have you worked with
No.
him?
No.
Oh,
I don't think I would have been very good with him. Most of the people who worked with Cassavetes were very good at sort of making up dialogue as you go along, and I'm not good at that.
Really, improv is not a thing you enjoy.
Well, you know, everything is improv, but you know, I tend to wind up repeating what people said because that was my training, you know, not making up. And I was, you know, very much made clear to me that you don't make up dialogue when I was doing improvs. That I was Meisner student, and you have a certain discipline for improv with him, and you did a lot of improv.
And you have so much improv in your physicality, obviously, which I love about your performances so much. I had a point about Child's Play 1 about the audio that I wanted to make. Fans have asked me my whole life, first of all, if I was scared making the films, which I have to explain that of course I wasn't. But they also ask me often if you were there on set. I explained to them that you weren't, and that your voice was recorded first, and then the doll was worked around that. I think a lot of people would think that it went the other way around, that your voice later. And thank God that's not the case, because if it were a script supervisor or someone saying, give me the boy and I'll let you live, you would never have been able to react as
no way, dude, you're done.
yeah. No, having your voice on set, always, in all the times that I've played Andy and had scenes with Chucky, your voice really helped me personally stay in that character.
Oh, good.
And I know there was even times in the first one, technology has caught up with us, so they didn't seem to have to do this time. But in the first one, they would slow your voice down, and it would be a slower version of your line to try to get the doll to match perfectly. I have some footage where I see that in action, where it says, snap out of it, you act like you never seen a dead body before. Like, it's all slowed down, which is creepy as hell to listen to. But yeah, having your voice on set was always incredibly helpful for me.
Good.
And yeah, your voice is pretty imprinted on my brain from my earliest memories. It really is. And one thing that I wanted to say about Child's Play 1 on a personal level, I talked to my mom recently about what she remembers of that experience. And one thing she said, and I'm sure you won't remember this, but she said about meeting you that you really took some time with her to discuss the fears of a child actor in Hollywood, and what to look out for, and what to worry about, and what to consider. And that stuck with her enough for 30 years later to remember it strongly. And
Yeah.
I want to thank you for that. I mean, because it's very true. I mean, this was a business that I ended up moving away from because of a difficulty in living that life, I guess. And you gave a really good, caring, fair warning to my mom. Not a warning telling her it's not to do it, but
What are the pitfalls?
yeah, you know, and that was something that you didn't have to do, and I appreciate a lot that you did that.
Oh, thank you. Sure.
Yeah.
I know, I remember doing that.
Yeah.
Because you were just starting out, and I thought, you know, she had absolutely no idea what she was getting into.
She didn't at all. And you know, she
Yeah.
really but luckily that worked out to where when it wasn't fun for me anymore, for whatever reason, I stopped, you know.
Mhm.
And I know that I feel very differently about that now as an adult, but I don't regret it at all. I think
Yeah.
it's really the right thing to do. Getting back into acting was something I was afraid of for far too long. And I gotta say that the first time back on a big project was Curse of Chucky. We talked about how rarely we're on set. The thrill of that for me, among so many others, was that you were there. You were back on set playing Charles Lee Ray in the flesh in Curse of Chucky. And
Yeah.
and I only had a cameo. I was there for one day, but it was such a blessing that you were there that one day.
Yeah, I saw you.
You watched my performance from Video Village there. And I remember you were so kind and complimentary to me that day that it really helped me feel like I can do this, because I wasn't sure that I could at the time. And at the time, I had stepped away from it for so long that I was lacking a lot of confidence, and I built that back up. But yeah, your kind words that day helped also. So
good. I'm glad I helped.
Curse of Chucky was a lot of fun to shoot that scene, and I love that the flashback stuff. I love one of the things that I love that Don has done to keep this going for so many years. This unraveling of things that happened before that first film, because he's tackled a lot of it, especially in this series. I think the flashback stuff was really, really great with younger versions of you and really talented actors who played him. This season 1 of this show,
you mean my daughter?
Oh, I mean your daughter, but I will talk about that too. But I meant the younger Charles Lee Rays. Yeah, there was a kid, a teenager. How did you feel watching them? Do you think they brought the right thing to that character?
Yeah, I thought they were fine.
I thought they were good.
I thought they were. I thought, I was a little bit floored with how well Fiona did me, and I really, I thought her Charles Lee Ray was better than mine, but maybe that's just me. But I thought it was like really good.
It was really good. It really was.
It was.
What was you saw her in that makeup on Zoom, right? She called you or something?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I was amazing. I thought it was a picture of me.
Yeah.
And I thought, when was this taken? And then of course I realized it was Fiona.
Fiona was just, not only was she phenomenal as Nika, Chucky Nika, Chucky pretending to be Nika, Nika pretending to be Chucky. She really had her hands filled with it. But that flashback stuff was especially incredible.
Well, she was concerned. I mean, she was really like, wow, this is quite a bit to chew here, but she really came through.
She did.
She did. I think that's why Don pushes her so far with this character, because he knows she can do it, and she could do it masterfully, and she does. We both, we're doing this podcast mostly because of, the legacy of everything and the fact that we do all feel like a family, because we are in a lot of ways. But I thought the TV series just really came out beautifully. Basically perfect. And Chucky had so much to say in this one. So, the characters always had such great one-liners, but you had like 3 or 4 amazing one-liners per episode in this. I was wondering if you had, an exceptional amount of fun with this dialogue compared to the 7 films.
Well, toward at the end, I had to go and do the whole series.
Yeah.
Piece by piece. And, which meant, I had to go to the city, it's a long drive and a long drive back. So, it had its challenges. So yeah, it was fun, but I did a lot of doing lines differently in different ways so that I could say, yeah, let's do it that way, but then let's do a safety where it's just harder.
Yeah.
And then, Don would be giggling and they'd all be giggling and he would say, yeah, I think we're going to go with the funny one.
Yeah, they do side on the humor a lot in the series, and we'll see how things evolve there, because
I'm not sure. I think Chucky has to always be the monster.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's such a bad idea to go for funny.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I mean, even laughing at Chucky a little bit is not a bad idea every once in a while. You just have to be vigilant and I think, trying different things so that he can cut it differently, is not a bad idea.
I heard you say on a panel with us one time that Chucky is the last, I don't know what word you use, the last villain you want to play, or the last horror sort of project you want to be attached to. Am I right? Did you say that?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
Because I'm done.
Are you retired done, or just like done being bad?
I'm retired of doing bad guys. This is it. Chucky is family, so I do Chucky.
yeah.
But I'm not doing those anymore. It's just not. I'm done.
Is it because it's uncomfortable to be in that space?
I just don't have the shock absorbers I used to, and yeah, it's not that it's just uncomfortable. It's just it really makes me feel awful.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It sticks inside my head longer than it used to, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very understandable.
I'm looking at some.
And I don't have to do it, so I don't.
Right.
Exactly. Sure.
Yeah. I'm looking at a trivia thing that says that you were the original choice for the Deer Hunter. Is that true? Chimino's.
Chimino wanted me for the part for a part in that, and I didn't do it. I had been successful in turning down in Wise Blood. Houston wanted me to do Enoch Emery, and I said I want to do Hazel Motes,
Right.
because I had a feeling that I could do it, and it worked. I got it.
Yeah, you did.
So then I tried it with Deer Hunter, and it didn't work.
And I see that you were the first choice for Hair, and Hair is, if that's true, what a surprising, I think, casting choice to have you play. Do you sing?
No, that was the problem.
It's because
Milos kept having me go back to the studio, and I finally said, Milos, I think you want somebody who can sing. And I said, so I really can't. So you should just go and find somebody who I think is somebody you really want. I don't want to, he always thought that was a little weird of me, but I think that was the right thing. I think he was better served.
Do you dance?
Everybody dances, sure.
I
can't. I didn't train as a dancer, no, but I'll dance.
Because I don't think most people really realize that Christopher Walken is a dancer. It's a surprising.
You can tell Christopher Walken is a dancer. You can see it in his work.
Really?
Oh, sure. I can anyway.
Yeah, it's
incredibly graceful.
It's a surprising detail,
Yeah.
Seeing you sing and dance would be an interesting thing.
I think. Look, I did summer stock, and we were doing Bye Bye Birdie, and somebody was out of key, and they kind of moved around, and it was me, and they were going to get rid of the person who was out of key, but I was, as far as the acting goes, I was the best one, and they felt like they couldn't do it, so they just tried to get me to sing on key more.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't sing or dance. I'm just a clod.
Sure, you can. You can dance. Everybody can dance. It's just something in your head. Singing is a different story.
Singing there's physical issues of that. I mean,
there's also a key. The note actually has to be hit properly, and if you don't, it sounds awful, and that's my problem.
Well, I have a recording studio, and I record singers and people who want to be singers, and there's a difference, and the difference is obvious in a note,
Yeah, you can tell how somebody's going to do in a song the second they just prepare before they even start.
When you finally saw Chucky on film, or I don't know if you saw dailies or how it was sent to you, especially in the beginning, as Chucky was becoming progressively more human and really looking more like.
You're talking about the first movie.
First film, yeah. Kevin Yeager's work in the first one. and how Chucky was gradually becoming human. When you saw that doll, did you see your own face in that doll a bit?
No,
Not at all.
no, not
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And they did that purposefully
Yeah.
because they didn't want to get in any, any kind of ambiguity that they were using my face, even though in the script they were supposed to, but they said,
Yeah.
no, you can't, because they didn't want to pay me anything.
Yeah.
They never have, and they never will want to pay me anything.
Right.
Christine has said for a long time that she sees more Jack Nicholson in that doll.
I think probably they did too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That hairline and stuff,
Hairline.
Mhm.
Are there any consistent misconceptions about you that you struggle with?
No, I don't. I think I don't know what people think of me, and people have been pretty polite. When I've gone to conventions, people have been very nice to me, so I can't really complain.
People talk about your Chucky laugh all the time. People ask you to do. I'm certainly not going to. Don't even think that. But people ask you to do it at conventions all the time, and the rare occasion that you do, you really thrill a room. But I was looking at so much of your work, and you bring such interesting laughs to so many of your characters. Laughter seems to be a really great tool that you use.
I was not aware. I never tried to do that.
If you ever watch a compilation of yourself, you'd know.
No. I never watched a compilation.
If you ever did, though,
I think
you have
you
so
have
many
to be a member of the Academy and have died to see that.
Yeah, perhaps. Brad, thank you so incredibly much for joining us. The fans are going to love hearing from you. We love hearing from you. I hope that we get to see you real soon. I know we'll see you at a convention or something. Maybe now with these restrictions dropped, maybe you can come to set sometime. I hope that works out, that you can do that maybe.
That would be lovely.
It would be. Thank you so very much. I hope
Yeah.
to see you really soon. I am, I talk to these fans all the time, and they absolutely loved your work on this TV series. And we thank you so much for always putting all of yourself into this killer doll that has tormented me since I was a little child.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Be
All right,
good, you
thanks,
two.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, now we're back. Chucky's still trying to stab you in the head.
Oh. Fuck. All right. Anyway.
Well, we're being silly today. All right. Anyways, let's get down to business. Niagara Falls this weekend. Come check us out there, Niagara Falls Comic Con. I will also be at Spooky Empire at June 17th to 19th. On Patreon. So look, we did breakdowns of the first 4 episodes. Episode 5, we did a watch party with everyone on Patreon in May. Episodes 6 and episode 7, we are going to be doing on Patreon watch parties, sitting down, chatting about it live with everyone who can join us from our Patreon in the month of June. So starting tomorrow, if you want to join our Patreon, do it, because we're going to have watch parties of episodes 6 and 7, where Andy and Kyle finally appear.
What about 8?
8, we're going to do in July.
Oh, I see.
We're busy.
Oh, we're doing,
Busy
we're doing
people.
2 in June?
We're going to do 2 in June. Yeah.
News to me. Okay.
News to you. Yeah. I'm just making it up as I go
That
along.
goes. Yeah, we are both working, so
We are. It's a bit. We're busy, and
there'll definitely be at least 1 in June, though, at the very least. And
definitely
lots
at least 1, probably 2, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
our greatest aspirations are often unrealized. So.
That's true. That's true. There'll be at least 1. Andy and Kyle's return in June, and among a bunch of other cool things. There's going to be more Child's Play 2 behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Christine got a bunch of cool
I think
items
the
on
watch
there.
parties, I think you get to comment, like if you're watching with us, you know, you can it's literally live, and hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Fuck off. Sorry. See how friendly I am. He's a really good friend too. you get to comment, like we're watching it literally in screen live, and you're hearing us comment, but you can also chime in, and it's sort of a unique experience, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So these are our Patreons. Go check that out. We've got other fun stuff that we're doing there. We decided that we're going to do, because our interviews are pretty much done with the exception of Don, which we will do at some point later in the summer probably. But we wanted to do a fan episode where you guys interview us, because we were thinking about interviewing each other, because we got stuff to say. I guess there's questions to be asked, but we know each other too well, so interviewing each other is just weird.
It's kind of like jerking off. So
that's one way to put it.
Yeah, I always go for the churlish metaphor. So
yeah,
but
kind of like jerking each other off then, and that's not something we want to do. So
it's fucking gross. So yeah, so think of good questions and come and watch how hard it is to be a panel moderator and come up with interesting stuff, and then interesting follow-up questions too.
Yeah. So if you're in our top tier of Patreon, you are welcome to that party. And if otherwise, send us, a message. We'll figure out how we're gonna decide who will be part of that Superfan Sit Down Q&A with us. That will be one of our last episodes of Chucky Talks, because we're just about done
with season one.
We'll see. We didn't really get to talk about Jennifer Tilly's interview, which was super fun. We were both very busy, so we didn't do our usual intro outro for it, but it was really fun. It was really great. I rewatched it recently.
Me too. She's the best, and she's such a generous human being, and in every way the word generous can be used.
Yeah.
So funny, so accomplished too. Like, she's such a humble girl. Like, she's just like a saint walking amongst us, and I just hope I get some time with her in season 2. We shall see.
Yeah, we're all rooting for that. Tiffany,
everybody wants Jennifer.
Yeah, everybody does. Tiffany and Andy just keep narrowly crossing paths and not getting any real exact one-on-one stuff, but we'll see.
I mean, poor Kyle's just hanging around the graveyard, looking around trees or something. I don't know what she's doing. She's not having fun with anybody.
All right, guys, thanks for sticking around with us. Next week, we will be showing the second half of our interview with Jennifer Tilly as we get close to our summer break here. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Thank you, Christine, for hanging out with me in my house.
Absolutely.
And we're going to jump in the pool.
Yeah, we will. But I'm going to wear a t-shirt because
I'm going to jump in the pool and you're going to jump off your patio, thinking you're jumping into my pool.
And I won't see you next Tuesday.
And you won't see me next Tuesday. See you guys next Tuesday.
All right. Sorry we're loopy.
Bye. Yeah, that's all right.
You thought